Yeah, I've already been thinking about how I can bring some of these things back to my teams that I run back in London. I think probably two things really. The first one is about the critical thinking. So we learned a lot about that you should spend half of your time studying the problem, and most people jump to trying to fix things through a solution, whereas actually you should write off time and concentrate time on understanding the problem. And I think it's very easy to get sucked into trying to fix a problem straight away without really understanding the problem. So that's something I'm going to take back to my teams, about spending more time trying to understand what our problems are. And the other one is about customer service. I think trying to understand for our victims of crime what it is that they need and expect from us, and really try and understand that so I can tailor service delivery towards that.
Do you think that police service is kind of customer service? Are you inferring this statement?
So that again?
I think. Do you think that police service is kind of service that or just customer service just made me to think of something you have buy or something?
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's a phrase that's come in over the last 5-10 years even. It's not new to us, that phrase. I mean, yes, normally you'd associate a customer with somebody who you'd ask into your shop to buy a good or a service. But we have, especially in my area of work, which is sexual offences, we have lots and lots of people who need services from the police and from our medical professionals as well. And we provide them with a service. Now, they're not buying that service in the true sense of a customer, but they are entitled to that service because people pay taxes and the police are there to provide that service. So it's as essential for us to understand the needs of our victims and the public as it is for a company to understand who their customers are, I think.
Oh, yeah. Okay, the next question will be what you impressed most or value most for this training course?
I think for me, perhaps even it's either the critical thinking module or the internal communication module. The internal communication module was a whole day where we learnt about how you can most effectively communicate with your staff and your people, and how to make that effective and how to get the best from that. And that was delivered by an external consultant, and I thought that day was superb. He came from Australia especially to provide this training, and I learned so much from that. And I think how we communicate with each other is absolutely critical. And so for me, I think that was one of the most important things, because it doesn't matter what else you think or do, if you can't communicate that message properly, then it's not going to be as effective as you'd want it to be. So that, for me, I've taken away a lot from that.
Yeah, it maybe hurts you internally or outwardly.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the last day. Any special message you want to share with us?
No, I think, firstly, I'd like to thank the Hong Kong police and all of those that have worked on the course for making the overseas colleagues so welcome. Everybody has made us so welcome, inviting us to their workplaces and socialising with us and making us feel part of the group. And I think that reflects incredibly well both on the Hong Kong police and on the whole community within Hong Kong as well. So a big thank you.
It seems that all the things are so pretty good. Any special suggestion to the host to make it even better in the future?
I think what would be really good to help support the course would perhaps be utilising more case studies, either from the overseas officers. We could bring some case studies of things that haven't gone so well for us that we could use as discussion points to evaluate and see how we could have done things better, and maybe some examples from Hong Kong police more examples about how issues have been dealt with and how they could be learnt from. And we did do some of that, but I think that's always a really good way to learn, by looking at previous events and seeing where you can learn from doing those things in a different way.
That means you suggest to have a more localized case study for further discussion. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, that means.
And maybe as well, the overseas officers bring examples as well. So the Hong Kong students can learn from us policing in our context, either in the UK or South Australia or Singapore, and we can learn from those, and then we can also learn from the Hong Kong environments as well. So I think from both sides.
I see. This is more comprehensive, right? It would be.
Yeah, more varied. Yeah.
Okay. And the last question, it would be just any other interesting story you want to share? It seems it's all about the work. Or any special interest story you want to share? Just the last question.
I think there's so many stories. There are so many stories. I've really enjoyed doing some sightseeing. I've really enjoyed going to some temples.
Oh, temples.
And I think one of the really interesting things, which was quite moving for me, was going to see the wishing tree in the Northern Territories.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we had a meal there, but it was quite nice to be able to
throw something on the tree.
Yeah, I hung something on the tree, wishing my family well and safety and health, and tied it to the tree, which for me was really unique, and had some incense sticks blessed as well in the temple. So that was for me very interesting and quite moving too.